Beefalo Bart here, and this is going to be a video tutorial series based off of my simple Steam multiplayer that is available on various ways to obtain it, but primarily what I'm hoping for is it should be on the Unreal Engine 4 marketplace here soon. But until then, or if it does not get put on there, I will make it available for purchase separately, and this is also going to involve being part of my Discord channel and part of my tutorial there. So we'll get a link to that, to the Discord, and if you want to get the setup ahead of time, let me know and go ahead and purchase it from there. Okay, that being said, what do you get when you first purchase that simple Steam multiplayer? Well, it's simple Steam multiplayer. One thing you're going to have to keep in mind is you should have the appropriate plugins, and if you don't know which ones to get, it's the advanced tutorial and Steam architecture, and there's plenty of videos out there that tell you where to go and how to get those. If need be, I can go and post those links in the Discord channel where you can get those and how you can set those up, but that's not going to be part of the tutorial for right now. If you need help with that, let me know, or if you have any problems running it, let me know and we'll get you going. But once you get it going, what you're going to end up with is the basic architecture of being able to create a simple multiplayer game that you and your friends can play. Now, it's going to involve using Steam components, so you're going to need a Steam account, and your friends are going to need a Steam account. Just par for the course. Sorry, that's just the way I've designed it. You're going to get the menu system and the basic setup for your characters, and I'll show you what actually goes on. Now, when you play this, if you just hit play once you first load it up, you're going to see, go connect to Steam, dummy. Well, it's because I told you, it's a Steam project, so you need to be connected to Steam. You can actually go in and do a single player, and it's just a blank, empty map for right now. There's nothing, no starter content, not a thing. I want to keep this as minimal a download and a blank canvas as possible. So now I can hit escape, and it's going to kill the program. Now, what I recommend doing instead is actually coming over here to next to play, selecting from here, going to standalone game. Now, it's going to take a couple seconds to initiate and to actually bring it up and actually allow you to play it. So, with that being said also, once it comes up, now you're going to get a feel for what it really feels like. Okay, so when you run it this way and you are connected to Steam, you will see your Steam username and your Steam avatar in the upper right hand corner of the screen. It's just a quick way to know that you are connected and everything's working correctly. And again, if you click on single player, which this is for a multiplayer game, why do you want single player? Well, just because. Okay, so now when I hit escape, I have the option to resume game and continue playing, or I can hit escape and go back to the main menu. Now, when I click on multiplayer, and yes, the exit button does work just fine. Click on multiplayer. If I want to find a game that a friend of mine has hosted, I can click on find, and then find lobby, and it will search, and if it finds one, it'll show up here. If it doesn't, nothing will show up. Now, instead, if you wanted to go ahead and host a game, you click on host, and then you can actually type in the name of the game you want to do. And for this one, doesn't matter what you call it, but I like to call it something that my friends will know. So if anybody else is playing yours, it keeps it simple. And then click on, you can hit enter, or you can go ahead and just click on make. Now, it's the same map. And that's because, again, I want to keep this minimal. And with that, you are now hosting a multiplayer game. Your friends will be able to see your lobby, and they will be able to join you. And that's pretty awesome. Okay, so now, if the host of the game leaves and goes back to the main menu, it kills the game. Anybody who was connected to your game is kicked out. Again, it's a simple system, and it was meant for playing that way. Later in the series, we can actually make some changes to it, but again, this is just a simple multiplayer setup and allows you to actually get in and play with your friends and create a game. So I'm going to go ahead and select exit game, and it's going to close it down. So that's what you get as part of the simple multiplayer Steam kit. Now, you're going to want to build a game based on this so that you can have some awesome stuff. Now, there's no starter content, there's nothing else. If you want to add the starter content, which I do recommend doing because there's some other things that'll be helpful inside there, what you can do is come to Add New. Now, this works also since this is a third-person template. And later on in the series, if you want to kind of have a first-person view, we can change cameras around and do all that. But if you want to add in other content, you click Add New, Add Feature or Content Pack, and here you can add in flying, puzzle, rolling, top-down. You can add vehicles, whatever you want to your project. But what we want to do is we want to come over to Content Pack, and we want to click on Starter Content and Add to Project. And it's going to take a few seconds to do its thing, and it's going to add all the starter content. Now you can just hit the X and close that. Now you've got your base geometries and architecture, you've got your sounds, your blueprints and assets that are already there, some basic starter map junk, and the usual, what you're accustomed to messing around with on the starter pack. In the UI, you actually have your assets for that. And in there, you're going to have, for audio, you're going to have the click sound, which is part of the menu. The images for the background. Now, I've included one in there that I meant to actually leave out, and some other ones that will come in handy later. This is the logo for TechnoAxe. This is the source of music that I use. It's got your game modes, your HUD, and your widgets. But we'll focus in on those later. The first thing is, it seems a little plain. So one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to add into the assets an audio file. And part of this tutorial series is going to focus in on not just making this really, really awesome game, but adding little things that'll make your game better. So adding in ambience. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to add in some background to my main menu. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Import. Now, I've already created the file that I want to use. So I'm going to come into where I've got my music stored. And now the format that I'm using is PCM WAV file 16-bit. And for this particular case, I'm going to bring in, this is one that I use on a lot of my projects. I like it. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that one in and import it into the assets of my UI. And I'm going to go ahead and save all. Now that we still have our main menu map loaded, as you can see right here, this is the main menu map. There's nothing here. You don't need anything. You don't need a character or a player or anything to do anything with. So what I want to do is I want to come over to Blueprints, click to the right of it, Open Level Blueprints. Now inside here, there's two nodes that are already in here. Those I've got set up so that it will auto-destroy the session whenever you go back to the main menu. So what I'm going to do to make life easier is I'm going to drag off from the Event Begin Play, and I'm going to add in a Sequence node. Now what the Sequence node does is it gives me the ability to branch off from that line instead of continuing on the same line. So I'm going to come down here from then 1, and I'm going to play sound at location. The actual location doesn't really matter because it's going to play everywhere. When we start adding in ambience, it will be a factor, but for now, it's not. So now that we've got the emerging as our background sound, or whatever you chose for your background sound, you can find it in the list here, or you can start typing in the name of it, and then select it there. Now, another thing that I like to do is I like to drop down and go to Volume Multiplier, and I'm going to set this to 0.5. That's going to be at half volume level. What will happen is it'll be a little bit on the loud side if you don't turn the volume down this way. So now I'm going to go ahead and compile and save, and then close that. And I'm going to go ahead and launch play again. And again, it'll take a couple seconds to bring it up. And once it does, we will now have background music. There we go. So, we're going to cut this video to pretty much this, but in the next videos what we'll end up doing is we'll create an image that'll go in here in the main widget so that we have something to look at, and we'll start working on, if you've already got a really cool map that using all the basic stuff, that's fine, but what we're going to do is we're going to do one thing at a time. Exit game. I guess a little parting gift on this video. If you don't like the fact that you're running around as a red UE4 skeleton, inside the characters, you'll see that I've got one called Red Man. That is your skeletal mesh, and your materials that go along with him. Well, what if you want blue? What if you want to use the original one? If you want to use the original character, now, to be able to quickly look at it, let's actually click on our Maps folder, double click on Lobby Map. This is where we go to here, and I'm going to go ahead and select Selected Viewport for a play mode. So if you don't want red guy, here's a little quick thing we can do, is if you want to go back to the original one, you can click on World Settings, Selected Game Mode, you open up this box right here, and instead of using Player Base, well, that's all we have. Well, what if we don't want to use that? Well, you're going to have to go back in, and you have the player blueprint. You can go into player base. Now, I'm not going to modify this one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on it, create a child blueprint class, and now let's just call him White Man. We already got Red Man. He's the default player base. Now, I'm going to go into this. I'm going to select my mesh. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to select the original SK_mannequin. And they're all using the same animation blueprint, so it's not a big deal. Hit compile and save, and you're back to the original UE4 mannequin. Now, if you want to play that particular one, all you have to do now is come over here and select default pawn class, come down to White Man, and then play. We're back to the original UE4 mannequin. But what if you want to make a custom color? Well, let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go again to player_base. We're going to right click, create child blueprint class, and let's call this Blue Man. Awesome, right? Now, let's go ahead and create the Blue Man. We know that we have Red Man here, so let's go back to our character folder. Let's create a new folder. We're going to call this Blue Man. So now we got our blueprint for Blue Man, and we've got a folder for Blue Man. I'm going to come over here to the Red Man folder, and I am going to, first off, I'm going to click this one. I'm going to hold the Shift key, click here. I'm going to drag, and I'm going to drop and copy here. And now I'm going to come over here to Red Man. I'm going to select him, hit F2, and I'm going to change his name to White Man. And then I'm going to come over here to Base Body. I'm going to hit F2, and I'm going to choose this as, sorry, we wanted this to be Blue Man, so Blue Body. So let's rename him. My mistake, sorry. Blue Man. So we got blue body, and we want to do blue logo. Now, let's go into blue body, double click on it, open it up, and you're going to want to scroll over until you find where you have the body color. And this couldn't be any easier. So you click on this block right here so that you can have it highlighted. Click on default value, and let's pick a nice blue color. That's lovely. So, okay. I'm going to take and drag by left clicking here. I'm going to drag this over to this block. Now I've saved this color. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click Save. It's going to automatically apply it, so I don't have to worry about clicking Apply and then Save. By the way, this is in version 4.18.2. So it's going to take a couple seconds to go ahead and apply and save automatically. As soon as it's finished, we'll close that. Now we need to go into Blue Logo, and this is for the chess logo. So as soon as we open up this, we want to still make sure that body color is checked. We want to click on right here, and we can click on top bar, and it will copy that same color directly to it, and click OK, and then save. And now we can close it. Double click on Blue Man SK, which is our skeletal mesh. We come to right here, and we want to go to Blue Body, and then we want to select a Blue Logo. If we kept the red logo, then it would just keep the little chess logo circle red. But let's go ahead and match it up. So we got blue. I'm going to save and exit. Now, if we want to play as our Blue Man, again, we're currently playing on White Man. Come back over to our world settings, default pawn class, Blue Man. Hey, it didn't work. Okay. Yeah, Blue Man. Let's look at, oh, because we didn't change it here. Let's go into our blueprint. Click on our mesh. Click on the skeletal mesh, and then Blue Man. Compile and save. Now when we hit play, we're in a Blue Man. So that's how you can quickly create a new character color. So once we later on start messing with making teams and things of that nature, you have red team, blue team, white team, green team, pink team, whatever you want. So that's it for this video, and hopefully this will help get you going towards creating your own first multiplayer game. In one of our future videos, I'll actually get someone else to connect with me, and we'll start experimenting with different features. And we can show you that it actually does work and have other players moving around. I'll let them actually host a game, and I'll join their game. But thank you for watching. And again, if you purchased the simple Steam multiplayer project, then I really do appreciate it. You're helping me out greatly. And we'll see you soon.